Shanti, everyone. Welcome to your next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, talking about how to sustain the self. Many times we find that we run into putting ourselves last, and I guess it depends on your nature or your sense of self as a person nowadays. Just the other day, it was yesterday, there was a situation where when I was in India in March or February of this year, gosh, it seems like so long ago, we had visited a family member of a friend, one of our sisters, and the family member, I'm sure, was doing the best that they can to take care of the person. And you could see the environment. She wasn't really able to take care of herself well. I don't think she had all the right tools, but she did hold on to Baba. And she's an elderly person. So myself and the sister really got very firm that you can't leave an elderly person like this in a house by herself without even a phone, television, anything for them to keep their minds healthy. And they're physically healthy, by the way. Long story short, on the 13th of May, we heard that she was moved to an assisted living and she has a nurse staying with her. And even though I heard they, by force, took her out of her environment to take her there, it's one of the things that has given me a lot of joy of recent, to actually help from ways in which you don't realize that your voice is making a difference, because we were so firm on trying to help her. And we were going to put her in one of our Brahma Kumaris assisted living centers, because she's a member of the Brahma Kumaris, and so that's available for individuals who are growing in the community, that you'll have an assisted living space that you can turn to when you're old. But it was just such a good news, and when I would see her or we talk to her every day, I could see how she's sustaining herself now. Company, as somebody who's very nice and positive and uplifting. She's getting good food, which is healthy. She's getting exercise, things that are needed for the self to be sustained. Okay, similarly for you and me, how do we really sustain ourselves on this journey called life? And yes, we go to the spa, we get the hair done, they call it waxing, facial treatments, massages. Maybe you'll go out and have a great meal at a restaurant with your friends, or maybe even by yourself. I don't know. But the most important, and this is in the Brahma Kumaris, the most important way of sustaining yourself will always come from the way you think. Always, always, always. Always, always. How you think will determine if you're taking care of yourself or not. I saw an image yesterday and it kind of disturbed me. Not the image, and the image wasn't a bad image, it was a good image actually. But for some reason it disturbed me a little bit, because I had observed how my thoughts went into a direction where thoughts that are influenced by ego and attachment made me start to think of a scene that was beautiful for these people, making it personal, where you felt, what's the word, dismissed or isolated from a scene. And it wasn't the reality, but just looking at that scene for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, it touched a memory in the soul of previous lifetimes or this one. Abandonment, not worthy, not valuable, not important. It's not the scene that is saying anything, it's the quality of thoughts in the head. It's very, very profound, and I ask you to check on yourselves how many times you stop serving yourself by having unnecessary and waste thoughts. How many times do you do that? and you don't consider yourselves to be a soul, a beautiful spiritual being, you don't remind yourself that you're God's child and that recording is in you. And if you're God's child, then you naturally emanate the qualities of God through you, because the characteristics of the divine is with you. I saw something the other day, and it was sharing how they make a glove in the shape of the hand, right? And when you put your hand in the glove, it's a perfect fit. And without the hand, it's like the glove has no use. But the example was positioned that we're made in the image of God, and so there's a perfect fit. If I stay in connection of this relationship with God, then we will fit like a hand in a glove. But when there's a disconnect between the soul and God, then it's useless. I'm useless without the Supreme Light, and the Supreme Light won't have much use if the children aren't using the energy that is being bestowed. So when they say you're made in the image of God and that's light, that is one of the greatest elements of sustaining yourselves. And light is everything that's connected to positive thoughts, a positive attitude, a positive mindset, that which is optimistic, divine, sacred, benevolent, charitable, good wishes, pure feelings, is a sign of your deep connection to your truth, but also to the divine. And maybe sometimes you'll say, that's all sweet and dandy, Sister Jenna, but you don't understand what I'm going through. Things are not really good. And in our teachings of Raj Yoga, it becomes crystal clear. When I'm going through any obstacle, I will always find that it's being created from some weak thought in my mind, over and over and over again. You're never free of having some role to play in the obstacles that appear in your life. Some thought, however subtle the thought was or intense the thought was, some thought creates a vibration in you. The thought keeps increasing, and voila, manifestation of that obstacle becomes your reality. Then you let that external situation pull so much from you, you stop taking care of yourself. Because the only thing you think about now is the problem rather than the solution, or really go back to the core of the solution, which is change the way you think and change the way you feel. Your connection to God is an essential practice in sustaining the self, because God's energy is consistently flowing. But if I'm not open to taking it, I'm not getting the sustenance the soul needs at a deep subconscious level. So much of whatever's happening in our lives is coming from the subconscious, not your ability to manipulate and move the dial as such. It's coming from deep within the soul. So many times we feel we're empty, we don't have anything to give anymore. It's too much for me to bear. It's a thought process. And whenever you get into that state, pull yourself back for a little bit, go behind your eye, remind yourself who you are. Immortal, eternal, imperishable, pure, powerful, peaceful, loving, God's child, a master, a bestower of good wishes and pure feelings, here to make a difference in the world. You have to keep talking to yourself to change waste thoughts into real thoughts, positive thoughts. So let's do a little meditation together to sustain ourselves and to look deep into your own heart and to be honest with how you're feeling and where you are, and that it's just a phase, a moment. The original nature of the soul is power and love and peace and joy. And it's our responsibility and our duty to remind ourselves of that. My original nature, the soul. When I allow myself to settle in myself purely and easily, I eventually reach this space of peace within. I eventually will reach a place within me that is settled, calm, clear, pure, stable. These are all powerful qualities that are already in the soul, in the self. In these times, it's essential that I commit to developing the habit of sustaining myself, of taking care of myself. And it starts with the way I think, how I think about people, situations, the environment. It reflects on me. That's why having benevolent feelings is one of the greatest forms of sustaining the self. Good wishes, pure feelings will make you strong. It will become a tool that will support you in times that are challenging. So starting from today, I promise to commit to taking better care of me. Starting with my thoughts. Connecting my thoughts to the Supreme Power, the ocean of love, and understanding everything has a beginning, a middle, an end, and new beginning. To practice being present. Practice to be present and to see what the present moment has to offer me. Be very discerning if thoughts of the past are distracting me or expectations for my future are confusing me. Be present and trust. The energy of God's love and purity and peace and wisdom is flowing through me. It's sustaining me. It's keeping me safe. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Breathe in deeply again and exhale. Imagine just taking a few minutes, just a few minutes for yourself every day. I think one of the things that I appreciate about the Next Normal, it's really food for the soul in the mornings or wherever you might be in the world. Maybe before you go to bed at night, or if you're in the middle of the day and it's getting challenging and you happen to appreciate tuning in at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It helps. Okay, let's go to AI, Awakened Intelligence, and see what it would give us, what tips for self-sustenance. Let's move through it. The Brahma Kumaris will teach self-sustenance. It's all about maintaining inner strength, emotional stability, and spiritual well-being, especially in challenging situations. And it's rooted in daily practice of spiritual awareness, positive thinking, and deep connection with the Supreme Being. Here are some steps. Daily practice of Raj Yoga meditation. Everything you hear me share on the Next Normal is actually coming from the teachings of Raj Yoga meditation. I'm not quite sure if you know that, but I want you to know that today. So connection with God, the Supreme Soul, is to recharge your spiritual battery. You sit in silence, observe your thoughts, create awareness of your original nature. It's peace, purity, and love. Of course, regular meditation will help you. The practice of soul consciousness is essential. We don't remember who we are. We're attached to our name, gender, role, title, religion, but we forget that we're the soul and not the body. This shifts your identity from ego and external roles to your eternal self, which is what requires sustenance. So practice seeing others as souls beyond their behavior and title. Power of pure thoughts. Keep your thoughts elevated, positive, and powerful. Avoid the habit of wasteful or negative thinking. Use affirmations like, I'm peaceful, I'm powerful, I'm an instrument of peace. Study spiritual knowledge. Every day in the Brahma Kumaris 9,000 centers, there's a teaching called the Murli, which generally happens 6 in the morning at many of our locations. And it's every day, Monday through Sunday. So listening to the Murli is known as listening to God's teachings, and it means the message that's being given is given with a lot of love and care for your emotional, spiritual, and physical and financial well-being. And so we learn about this every day. This will help you stay aligned too with your higher purpose and values. Number 5, keep good company. Surround yourself with like-minded, spiritual or healthy or positive people. Participating in classes, retreats, spiritual conversations will reinforce your inner discipline. Service through thoughts, words, and actions. Selfless service increases your spiritual strength. Don't keep doing things to want something in return. A lot of times I've worked with so many people on my journey, and even to get support or help from people, even governments, it's like you get this feeling that they won't help you unless you give something to them or you're helping them for something that they want, then they'll come and support you. And in our community, we don't wait for you to give to just be of service. We automatically keep giving. The Meditation Museum alone does on annual, before the lockdown, 300 events a year, free. The students finance and sustain the meditation museums and the programs, not people who don't know us. We do it for free. Every day you show up, you're giving. But I've noticed with people with motives or governments or certain people, what's in it for me? Is this from my constituents? Am I going to get reelected? This is not going to let my image look good. If I do this, I do that. And I just pause and I go, wow, no wonder the country is going through so much. Sometimes you've really forgotten to use your discernment to see who are the people that are making a real difference in our community. These are the people to support. And sometimes they're not well known, you know. It could be your neighbor. There was a story of an old lady in New York. Her name was Moy. And Moy was only like 3 feet 9 inches tall. She was from Guyana. And every day she used to go to pick up her grandson at school, but she would cut apples up in a bag. And when she would get her grandson, she would always give her grandson an apple. But her grandson would be around other kids. So she would give pieces of these apples to these kids. And so Moy started walking her grandson home, but then all the other kids started to go with her because they loved her so much, and they would tell their parents, because on the way she would just drop them off on their way home. This is a story. This is selfless service. So selfless service will increase your spiritual strength. She was just giving. It's a great story. Number 7, check and change. Frequently check your thoughts, words, and actions. Number 8, detachment with love. Remain loving yet detached from outcomes in people's behavior. Number 9, be in the present. Avoid living in the past or worrying about your future. And number 10, the last one, maintain a balance. Balance with introversion, extroversion, silence and service, discipline and yet being flexible. Avoid extremes and maintain a calm, stable state throughout your daily activities. So many different steps to help you with your self-sustenance. Now let's go to the Sister Gita effect, where she was definitely a sustainer.
Silence of the mind. How is that possible? Do I have any things of the old in my heart? Do I have hurt feelings in my heart? Do I have revenge in my heart? Do I see the weaknesses in others and hold on to them? Do I do this? Because that delays the silence of my mind. Now, think positive thoughts. They are powerful and they bring light, whereas weak and negative thoughts darken your mind. Get rid of waste and perform good actions and bring in maximum benefit to the self and others. Be virtuous, like a tree heavy with fruits that bows and gives shade to all. Remember, as you sow, so shall you reap. You will start to talk to yourself from your heart, and you will talk to God from your heart. Don't just make complaints and demands. Let your intellect be peaceful, distant from the attractions of the mundane, the body, and bodily relations. Consider yourself to be the incorporeal soul and relate to the incorporeal Father, the Supreme Soul. He will listen to you when you speak from your heart. He will then respond to you from his heart. Hence comes total stillness. Om Shanti. Have a good day.
There's a section in her new book, The Sister Gita Effect. Thanks, Dr. Etty, that you got your copy. And for those who have not gotten your copy, please do it after the show. And after you read it, give a review. I've been hearing from the publisher that this is valuable. So here's something that comes out of the book, Self-Tuneup, which is appropriate for today's conversation. No matter how good a car or its driver, if the car isn't regularly checked, there will be problems. In the same way, if one moment I am happy, but the next moment I am not, something is amiss with the vehicle of my mind, and I will need to check it out. Is there purity? Has there been truth? What about ego versus self-generated respect? How much grief am I causing another? Where are my weaknesses? How can I grow? Check these regularly will deliver you to the high destination. Awaken, sweet ones. Keep yourselves tuned and ever ready. Meditate at length. Teach yourselves how to be generous and never stop giving. The Sister Gita effect. Woohoo! So please get a copy on Amazon. More so that I've been hearing from friends how moving the story has been, and it has a little bit about my life as well, and what my life was before my spiritual awakening and the transformation that has occurred since that time. So let's give a big shout out to everyone there online. Thanks so much for joining in. Rich, Shobha, No More Sweats, Banu, Nirmala, Lilawati, Usha, Angela, thank you for the sharings. Kailash, Dr. Etias, I gave you a shout out. Please let me know what you thought about the book, honestly, and tell your friends. Eti, you have so many friends. I'll actually come to Miami and do a book signing if you want. We could do one at your space. And for anyone else who would like to do a book signing, just send us an email and create a nice gathering either in your home or at your space or venue or workplace. We can do it. Nowadays, life is about personal connections, not marketing as such. Morning, Anita. Good afternoon, good evening. Neha, Indu, Hildy, Annette, Henry, Duhulu, Ulala. Okay, I think that must be Beverly. Beverly has the best creams, I have to tell you. They're now available at the Meditation Museum shop. So you're welcome to come and meet Beverly there and give a shout out to her Ooh La La creams, which have been amazing. I'm actually using them every day. And so I've become her face for Ooh La La face creams, I think. I've just given myself a new position. Thank you all so much for joining us on the next normal. Lots and lots of good wishes and pure feelings to each and every one of you. Keep in touch on the Meditation Museum website to find out all the amazing activities that are happening. We're going to be having Prince Manvendra from Rajpipla in Gujarat pretty soon. We're going to be having Saskia and Michael, who are musicians who take you into a journey of your own soul. They do like almost like a reading of your journey, but through a song. That's going to be at the museum. We have Ken and Luciana from Brazil, who are facilitators and consultants of business management and leadership and communication skills. It's unending, so keep in touch at the Meditation Museum for all the wonderful activities and visitors that are coming. Lots of good wishes and pure feelings, everyone. Have a great day today. Om Shanti.